Hey everyone, thanks for joining. I am going to show you my kit for a 4-day trip in Algonquin Park. It's going to be pretty warm out, end of June. I'm going to be there for the Canada Day long weekend. Not a lot of portaging, a bit of paddling. And so because there's not a lot of portaging, I get to carry some extra stuff, which is pretty nice. And I'll show it all to you today. I'm going to kind of carry you through the table in no particular order of things I'm bringing. So one thing I do bring is my own baler kit. This is because I don't own a canoe, I'm renting from there, and they'll give you the crappiest baler kit that's really easy to lose. So this one is nice in that I could attach it to anywhere on the canoe. And I also bring these twist ties. So if I'm with anyone and we need to tie up our paddles to the canoe, I prefer to do that rather than having a canoe in my head and holding paddles, or trying to awkwardly strap paddles to someone's backpack or make them hold it. So this is really handy as well. I have 2 sets of boots I bring with me. That's right. There's the one I wear for portaging, which gets soaking wet, and they're Salomon Combat or Salomon Jungle Ultra Pros, whatever they are. They're just hydrophobic boots, and they have drainage holes, and so they get wet quick and they dry quick. And so these are what I usually portage in, and these have been really great boots. I like them a lot. The second pair I bring are Danner Tachyons, and these are really good as well. I used to ruck a lot in these. Great breathing. Again, they get wet quick and dry quick. In a way, these act like backup boots if those were to ever fail. But more or less, the reason I carry them is because these are soaking wet, and when I get onto campsite, I could walk around barefoot or in flip-flops, but then I'm moving around a lot in the forest a lot, chopping down trees. I don't want to do that in flip-flops, and I don't want to do that in wet boots. So I just throw these on, and these are great. So Danner Tachyons, and they're compressed well enough where I could get them into my pack, and they're not totally taking up a lot of space. So always carry 2 pairs of boots lately. Of course, there's just whatever aftermarket camp chair I bring, cheap and cheerful, and so that's always nice to have after a long day. I've got the MSR, what is this, Alpine Stowaway Pot. This is the 1.1 liter. This one is brand new. I used to just use a crappy aluminum pot, but then I've been hearing those aren't that good for you health-wise, and those things will eventually burn out. So I wanted to get a stainless steel one with a nice lid, a integrated handle that won't really melt, because the old one I had a plastic handle. So this I'm looking forward to trying in the field. Classic setup of a clean canteen with a nested mug, and so don't need to explain this too much. It's just handy in that if I do need to boil some water, I could boil water in here, or boil water in my metal cup if I need to, and just have those options. And they're not going to break in the field, which is awesome. I have, for a stove, I have a couple stoves. The one I'm bringing this weekend is just a basic Esbit stove, which I probably won't even use because I'll be cooking over the fire for the most part. But I have some Coughlin's Esbit, not Esbit, but Coughlin's fuel tabs in here, which is pretty much hexamines, the same stuff as Esbit cubes. And if I do need to in an emergency, or it's wet, heat something, or use one of these fuel tabs to start a fire, I could definitely do that. And so this is more or less for backup fire if I need. Always bring a little thing of camp suds, just for cleaning off some dishes, cleaning my body if I need to, hands, whatever. And I have my IFAK. I won't explode this here. I'll probably do another video on what I have in my IFAK, but very quickly, it's pretty your simple bandages, simple medications like Advil, Pepto-Bismol, things like that. That'll be handy in the field. I do have an emergency blanket. I even have like a notepad and pen in here, a signaling mirror, things like that. And also I have some water purification tablets as well, in case my main purification source fails, which is this guy. This is the 4-liter Platypus gravity filter. Really recommend this. This is great, holds a lot of water, filters rather clean water rather quickly. I would never put crappy swamp water through it. It's not made for that. If I needed to drink crappy swamp water, I might try and get it through to get it somewhat clean. Most of the time I'd probably be doing water purification tablets combined with boiling and some impromptu filtering tool, like using my Shermog, something like that. But this is really just for clean water. Even then, if it's just a slightly murky, it'll clog these things up. But if it's just clean water, Algonquin to filter out things like Giardia, this works great. In my pack, compass, standard, headlamp stays in there, whistle for signaling, and I have my torch as well. This is a Phoenix PD35 tack, works great. I forgot how many lumens it is. It's probably like 700 lumens in turbo mode, and it's got like an 18650 battery, waterproof. I don't use this around site a lot. This is more or less for emergency or for signaling, or for some reason at night if I have to do a lot of work and need a lot of light. This is here. So this is like a nice to have. Again, end of June. It's very sunny out. Sunscreen. TP, can't forget that. It's very important. And my spoon. This is a titanium spoon. Again, this is just one from Amazon. Nothing special. It's called Boundless Voyage. I've been through sporks, full utensil sets where I have a knife, fork, and a spoon on it. And this thing just works the best all around. Yeah, it's tough. It won't fail in the field. It's lighter. It's easy. And of course, it's the long handle. So if you are eating out of an MRE or one of those dehydrated meals, this is nice to have. Newer addition to the kit is the axe. Before I used to just carry a saw and cut down, a decent sized tree that'll burn well whenever I go camping. But lately, with a lot of traffic in Algonquin, especially since COVID, those well-sized trees that are dead and ready to cut down around the campsite, those aren't so available. What are available are larger, dead standing trees, but you need an axe to process them. So lately I've been comboing, what I've been bringing is the Silky Gomboy. This is the 2000, yep, with the axe. And these two together could make me make wood gathering and processing just way easier. Just cut down one larger tree, chop it all down into pieces that can burn, and then I'm done, instead of cutting down like 10 smaller trees. Like I said, which aren't available as much anymore on site. You have to go really deep into the woods. Sleep kit, I've got, I think this is like a MEC Vectair insulated pad, inflatable. It's got like an R4. I use it year round, so I'd rather be hot, even though it's summer. I'd rather be a little warm. I just open up my sleeping bag if I'm warm, rather than cold trying to get warmer, because that's a lot more difficult. But so far I've used this a couple times, works well, inflates quickly. I like it a lot. Also, I have my base camp pillow. This is a nice luxury. A lot of times I'm just shoving some clothes into whatever in my sleeping bag as a pillow, but to have an actual dedicated pillow is nice. And again, it's a 4-day kind of glamping trip in the backcountry of Algonquin. I don't mind carrying it at all. I don't have on the table here is my sleeping bag. I just have a regular Nemo -5 degree sleeping bag. I like it a lot. Works well. What else do I got? Again, here's my Shermog. Scarf, emergency clothes filtering, bandage, sling, all that stuff. Works really great. Towel, usually, works good. You should always have one of these as a part of your kit. I've got this Baofeng ham radio. I use this more or less to play around with frequencies local to Algonquin and try and listen to those things. Has an FM radio, so I can listen to music, weather, things like that if I want to. This is more or less a toy just to have in the field. And in my notepad, in my IFAC, I have all the, I think it's called GMRS frequencies. So if somebody just has a regular walkie-talkie and I'm camping with somebody, I could just put the frequencies in here and refer to my notebook. All right. On my body, I usually carry about some hanks of cord. Not all 4, I usually just carry 1 or 2. But the cord I used to bring used to be paracord, which is long. It's a little more expensive if you get good quality paracord. And when I'm just doing regular camping, it's a bit overkill. So number 8 bank line works just great. It's cheap and cheerful. It's very effective. It's strong. Because it is tarred, it holds up to the weather really well. So this stuff is really good to play with in the field. Metal match with some Gorilla Tape at the end. This works really great. Of course, if you know how to use it, always practice. I have my Exotac with my Bic in there, so if it does get wet, it doesn't knock out the Bic for who knows how long until you get it dry. Here I have my Leatherman. So this is actually a new Leatherman I just got. I used to use the Sidekick for the longest time, but that I put in a bug out kit, and I wanted to have a full size Leatherman to use in the field. So this is a Super Tool 300. The Sidekick was nice in that it had a spring that automatically opened. I think I'll be okay without it, although that spring has come in handy. The trade-off is this is like a full size plier with needle nose, and it's nice, and it's got full size tools inside of it, which lock. So just having a full-size file like this to sharpen field tools or whatever you need is really handy. And for example, here you can see the saws and everything, just larger all around. So when you're in the field and you just have to do a lot of work, having a full-size tool like this is really handy. I really love Leathermans. They're good quality, or any multi-tool for good quality multi-tool. Leatherman's not the only one. But if I were to choose one tool to go into the field with, it'd probably be this guy. On my body as well is I have my Moraniv Garberg. Great knife. I love it. It's heavier than, let's say, the Canspool, which I carry sometimes. But this is a newer one I just got, so I'm still using it in the field a lot. I'm enjoying it. I've modified it a bit, and here I have a tech lock on this one. So I like to scout carry this knife, and the tools like it came with the Velcro on the back, it was just loose, it wasn't handy, and so I had to attach this tech lock with the multi-mount sheath. Now this multi-mount sheath doesn't mount naturally to the tech lock, so I had to drill another hole, but here it is. And maybe I'll just show that to you guys one day and dive in depth into it. But I think it was right here is a natural hole to drill into. And right up behind here, I had to drill another hole to get this in. But it's sturdy, it works well, and I love the setup, just like that. And this goes right on my front waist. And I have this one dry bag. In this dry bag, I throw my sleeping bag and I throw my clothes. So if I am portaging and my bag gets wet, all this stuff can get wet. That doesn't matter. But if your sleeping bag is wet and your clothes is wet, you're in for a tough time. This also has the little nozzle at the bottom, so I can fill this up with air and quickly inflate my sleeping pad if I want to. Oh, almost forgot. It's going to be Canada Day weekend this weekend, so I'm going to be showing the flag on my campsite. Here's also going to be carrying about 4 days of food. This is a mixture of just some rice. I have some, what else? Dehydrated spaghetti in here. I have some dehydrated beef curry in here, and some other random food and stuff for 4 days. I'm going to be eating well, I'll say that. Another thing that's on the table is I have just a one-person tent from Alpine Links. This is something I got on, Alps. And so this is something I got on Amazon. It's been a great tent. I would recommend it to you guys. Definitely look into this one if you need a one-person tent that's cheap and cheerful and decent size. And here's my backpack. I've had this pack for, a long time. This is a Black Diamond. I don't know the exact model, but this is like I think it's a 50-liter pack, and it's just worked great. Hasn't failed me yet. And so there's my pack. And I think that covers all of it. So thanks a lot, guys.